I got this ADA thing figured out now. Okay. Here we go. I'm a child abuse survivor who's been stigmatized to death. I have mental retardation and executive functioning order deficiencies. I have spent long times in jails by this judge for odd and eccentric behavior that was not against the law 3 times in the past. I have severe agoraphobia. It has caused my suicide compulsion to come back full swing. Complicating matters is this extremely severe comorbid subconscious anxiety panic disorder complex involving attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, socialized anxiety disorder, panic attack disorder, avoidance personality disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and the acute stress disorder, insomnia, and psychogenic seizures. Between my extreme emotional disorders is involving bipolar 1 and 2 and likely a unipolar complex as well. I also have temporal lobe epilepsy from head trauma as a child and as an adult. I prefer to wear a helmet when I feel uneasy. Abandonment trauma, enforced social isolation since because of the police officer and the judge terrifies me. I likely have the personality disorders of borderline personality disorder and or dissociative personality disorder as well. On top of it all, I was born with an abscess in my brain totaling 20% and some defects in my feet. These are all valid diagnoses, most with documentation. I'm going to check myself in for inpatient hospitalization after I get my next deposit and can set my place up to abandon because I may not make it out alive and I'll beat my head until I die in jail. Don't expect me to show up for court. I'd rather die, so it's another visit to the loony bin for me because it's the only place to get any medication, but usually they don't medicate me correctly. It's still far safer than jail. Remember, I'm innocent, but Judge Jim Ward always protects bad police officers, not allowing my evidence or confusing me with my brother. P.S. I'm also a victim of extreme medical malpractice and abuse by hospital staff frequently. My agoraphobia is more severe towards the broken justice system, though. I tried calling, and I'll try again on Monday if I'm still around. What do you call this one term? Complex post-traumatic stress disorder, which is another verifiable diagnosis. This is what happens to child abuse victims who are victim shamed and bullied nonstop by the authorities when I've always been a moral, upright man of God. Check out my plight and flight on my YouTube channels, Joshua Demers, which is my face with American flag background, For Real Retard, and Retarded Genius. I am open to advice or discussion to facilitate my victory into survivor instead of victim. I'm wearing my helmet in court if I show up instead of being stuck in the psychiatric treatment unit. I was going to get an ATV and go up to Alabama with my best friend next month, but I'm stuck lonely and isolated in a state of constant worry and panic attacks, looking forward to being locked up. It's an electrically assisted bicycle by regulation, and this officer called it a motorized vehicle even after proving it to him. I told him my suicide chances just went way up, and he left me there hot, terrified, dehydrated, suicidal, and disabled 7 miles from home with the threat of arrest if I operate the bicycle again, including driving it home. I was on my way to church too. Pretty satanic when all I want is to not suffer anymore. Looks like it'll never happen until I'm dead. I'm hardcore pro-life, and I'll admit that I should have been aborted. Woo! That's pretty damn good. And like I said, I did that mistake with the putting ACD instead of ASD, which was that acute stress disorder, and that was one reason why I got so confused in one of those last videos. See what I'm saying? One letter off totally threw the whole thing off. But again, that's because that was an extremely recent diagnosis and an extremely recent term. So, you know, it takes several repetitive times to be able to pull that into a quicker draw on the short term. Now you're starting to understand how my memory complex is. In a list of anxiety disorders, near the end of the list, there's ACD instead of ASD. That's acute stress disorder. A one-letter error in an abbreviation on an extremely recent diagnosis is pretty awesome of me. Please don't let me die because of doctor, police, and judge brutality. These authority figures display features of schizophrenia, which is a superiority complex. They are not treating their psychologic disorder while forcing decisions based on emotion and prejudice instead of facts based on research. I'm determined to call before court even from the mental hospital, but the phone number may be lost in the transfer. Oh, where did my professionalism go near the end? Here's my link to my primary channel, and I went ahead and actually posted the link this time. Joshua Demers on YouTube, sent from email from Windows 10 at about 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:10 in the morning. Now, if they can't see that 5:34 I sent one. 3:09 I sent the other. And I obviously sat here for a while restudying and redoing my thing and then typing this out and everything. You know what I'm saying? They can tell that I'm not getting good sleep cycles. When I say the insomnia, I wasn't, and anxiety disorders, I wasn't fucking kidding. Look at this shit. I'm over here just double checking and rechecking. You know what I'm saying? Everything over and over to make sure it's just right. So let's see if it does any good. Let's see if anybody in that American Disabilities Act actually cares about Americans with disabilities. We'll see.